Hi, everybody. We're going to look at negative exponents. This is V3, and it's from IXL. I didn't preview it, so I'm going to explain it as I do it. I'll start with how to do them, and then we'll talk about maybe some of the underlying theory behind them. So we're looking at negative exponents, and it says to write the expression with a negative exponent, do not evaluate the expression. So anytime you move across the division line, you're changing the sign. And it's pretty easy to remember. So basically this is the same as 9 to the negative 8 over 1. When you move it across the division line, you change its sign. So this means 9. Let's see if I can write it. 9 raised to the negative 8. Okay, come on. This one, we want to move it across the division line and change its sign. So we're talking about this guy right here. Again, we want to move it across the division line and change the sign. There it is. We're going to move it across the division line. Remember this is the same as this. So we're going to move it across the division line and change the sign. So it's 6 to the 1 over 6 to the 5th. I'm using the fraction bar. I think you could probably use the division bar, the slash, but anyway, there it is. Okay. Now we'll talk about y later. Which one is equivalent? So it's going to be, we move it across the division line and change its sign. Move it across the division line and change its sign to 99. Lots of rhyming going on here. Feeling like Dr. Seuss today. Okay, come on, let's go. Okay, move it across the division line and change the sign. There it is. Move it across the division line. And change, oh, wait, there it is. Change the sign to 991. By the way, that number is so incredibly small. It's so close to 0 that it is almost exactly equal to 0. Okay, so this is going to be 1 over 3 to the 4th. It says write it without exponents. So 3 to the 4th is 81. So we're talking about 1 over 81. Looks like I can write it like that. You should know 3 to the 4th is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, and that is 9 times 9 or 81. One that you want to memorize. All right. 1 over 3. No exponent needed. And 1 over 64. Again, you want to memorize your 4 cubed, which is 4 times 4 times 4. There's your 16, and you multiply that by 4. You carry your 1, and yada, yada, yada. Sorry, carry your 2. Anyway, okay, so it looks like we have 3 to the negative 3. 3 to the 3rd is 27, so it's 1 over 27. Need to know your exponents. If you haven't seen the earlier ones, always good to memorize those. That's 1/4. And let's see, what do we have next? That's 1. By the way, that's 1 over 1 to the 4th, but keep in mind that 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 is 1, which is 1. There's this cool video by Vi Hart where she talks about 1 and all the special properties of it. It's kind of funny. Anyway, this 1/8. Remember, 2 to the third is 8. 2 times 2 times 2, not 6. Oh man, it's going on 5 minutes. That's 1 over 216. Gotta memorize those special exponents. Come on, there we go. Okay, 1 over 81 again. Oh no, I'm sorry. It would be 1 over 81, but it's 81 to the negative 1, which moves it across the division line, so it's 81. One way to think of it is that this is 1 over 3 to the negative 4, and if we move it to the numerator, we get rid of the negative, so it's 81. Remember, when you move it across the division line, you change the sign. Okay, that's 3. We're taking the inverse of 1/3. That's another way of thinking of that. Anytime you're taking something to a negative 1 power, it's the same as a reciprocal, which is why we move it across the division line when we change its sign. That's 100. 10 squared on top, right? Okay. That's going to be 2 because, again, we're talking about an inverse here. Looks like they're making it easier instead of harder as we go. 1. Well, 1 to everything is 1. 1 to whatever power you're talking about. Okay, so it looks like it's 1/5. Move it across the division line and change the sign. Oh, interesting. Move it across the division line, 100. We've done that one before. Kind of cycling back, it looks like. That's going to be 4. Notice we're moving across the division line and changing the sign, which is 4. Take some practice to do these. You just want to remember, move it across the division line and change the sign. That's 10. Hmm. 6 to the third is 216. Notice that that is the same. 1 over 6 to the negative 3 is the same as 6 to the positive 3, which is 216. Okay, we're getting there. That's going to be 1/4. Move it across the division line and change the sign. 1 over 2 squared. Last one. Okay, 81 is 729, isn't it? 81 times 9. And it's over 1, of course. Under 1, sorry. We moved it across the division line and changed the sign. And we're talking about 1 over 729. And we're done. Okay, it wasn't too painful. So there it is. Hope you'll try it yourself. Later on, when we start doing reducing expressions, I'll make sure I teach more about why it works rather than just how. So see you later. Bye, guys.